is about a vain search for tea in Mexico. Mexico a la noti. There wasn't any tea.
No, I.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was in this little town called Ciudad, I think Matamoros, which means kill the Moors, which was a battle cry when Spain was liberated from the Arab Empire in 1492. Kill the Arabs. Matamoros. Moros meaning natives of Morocco, where most of the Arab population of Spain came from. They didn't have far to walk. Anyway, I was in this little Mexican town, and I went as usual to the market, and I wandered around the market looking for tea. Couldn't find any, and I asked somebody selling, I don't know, bananas or shrimp. I said, "¿Dónde se vende té?" He said, "Yeah," and pointed at an old man standing over a stall, or under a stall, anyway, in a tienda, in the market. And I went over to him and I said, "¿Hay té?" He said, "Sí, ¿qué tienes?" And I said, "What do you mean, ¿qué tienes?" That means, what have I got? So I said, "¿Qué tengo? No tengo té. Tengo sed." That is, I don't have any tea and I'm thirsty. And he said, "Yeah, but ¿qué enfermedad tiene? What sickness do you have?"
Oh, they only had herbal tea. Chinese
He only
medicine.
had herbal tea. He was a
Like
herbalist, a doctor.
I saw a store like that near a pharmacy and all that.
Yeah.
It's on the main intersection in Las Faras. So they've got all the things like
Yeah, they have a lot of them in
Mexico.
Mexico. They're called curanderos, which means, witch doctors. They're people who understand all the herbs, and whatever ails you, they'll give you a tea to cure it.
An apothecary.
An apothecary, yes, that's a word to dangle with.
Well, they have that in Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah,
and it's herbal medicine.
a plague on both your houses.
Yeah.
Right.
Bubonic plague, delivered by locusts and frogs.
No, rats.
Mm-hmm.
Bubonic plague is delivered by the fleas that live on the rats.
Well, I'm making a joke, and also sirens.
Sirens.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had a long discussion with this old man about what was or wasn't wrong with me, and he finally understood that
There's nothing wrong.
the
with
only
you.
thing wrong with me was that I was thirsty and didn't have any tea to drink. And he said, "Oh, tú quieres té negro,
Yeah.
black tea." And I said, "Sí, eso, té negro." He said, "No hay.
Yeah, not in that store.
Not there, not anywhere." He said, "Vaya al super, go to the supermarket."
Mm-hmm.
So I went there and they didn't have any. Of course, they only had American tea bags, which are futile.
Oh.
They're not fit to wipe your bum with. I mean, they're just a bit of paper
Yeah.
with practically nothing in it.
So you have to rip them open and put the tea in. You need to rip a whole bunch of them open.
And then, put the tea in and then reseal it. It's a waste of time. Anyway, I couldn't get any tea in Mexico, but luckily I was not far from the border of the great state of Texas, formerly in Mexico, where they actually do sell tea in a store. So I managed to buy some finally on the American side of the border.
Oh.
Until then, I had to go without.
So you went up to America to get tea?
Not only to get tea, I went up to the United States in order to get back to Canada.
Oh, so you didn't go out of your way?
No, I was on my way north. I'd had enough of Mexico.
Was that
6
because
months.
you didn't have any tea?
Yeah, I ran out of tea and I ran out of time in Mexico
Yeah.
at about the same time.
That could be another story then, or a book. Out of tea and out of time.
Yeah,
Right? It's like the pier. Long over tides and long overdue.
Yeah, right. That's right.
So it's the mad rush back. A different one is like the slow rush back on trains.
Yeah,
Right? That one took a long time.
all right. That took a very long time.
And not a lot of money. It's the only way.
Yeah.
That's the one with Catboy
Yeah.
and teaching English.
Yeah.
Was that after teaching English
Yeah.
individually?
Yes.
Same trip.
Right.
Did you teach for multiple English teaching schools on that
No,
trip?
only that one school.
Oh, yeah.
It was the only one I saw.
It was an exercise in futility.
Absolutely.
But you didn't have tea.
No.
Well, that time you had it, right? Or no?
That time when I was
Yeah.
teaching English,
In a futile way. Yeah.
I don't think I had much left in the way of tea. It was getting towards the end of the trip.
So all you had was futility.
Yeah.
And you can't drink it.
And sterility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mediocrity.
Yeah. What a sad way to teach English. By
Yeah.
whispering. Individually.
Yeah. Individuality.
Yeah.
There's nothing
But you
wrong with
believe in- but you believe in
individuality,
that,
except
yeah.
that it's no way to learn a language. You can only learn a language socially.
Because it's for communication.
Yeah, because it's all about
Interpersonal.
communicating with some other brain or
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, genes, brains, and books. You can't have books if you don't have language.
Right,
It
but
has to
that's
be an
another
agreed-
form of
An
language.
agreed upon language. That's social. That's civilization.
Yeah.
If we all had our own language, we wouldn't really write books. Except
Well,
for
we all
ourselves.
do have our own language, but luckily they're all the same, at least all of our English-speaking community.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems we have in the world is that we have like hundreds of languages. There's like
Yeah.
192
Babel.
or 193 countries in the world.
Yeah.
Chris Gillibo, the author of $100 Startup, has been to every country in the world. And
Really?
so, but many of them have different languages. And then there's countries that have a language, but then they have many, many dialects in small areas.
Yeah.
So there's so many different languages, people can't understand each other.
Right.
And that's because we can't understand each other. We don't cooperate.
One of the most dramatic examples of that is at the actual site of the Tower of Babel, which
Yeah.
is, of course, Babylon, modern day Iraq, where this main language is Arabic, because all the people there are Arabs, except for one big nation in the north, from the mountains, called the Kurds. And they don't speak Arabic, they speak Kurdish, which is an Indo-European language. In other words, Aryan language, same as English, German, Greek, Latin. And the Kurds are very unpopular in Iraq because they don't speak Arabic. But that is where the Tower of Babel was apparently built, according to the Bible,
Yeah.
which is not a very...
So they were cursed, right? Were they building it, and then they were cursed to all have different languages, and now they couldn't cooperate. They couldn't build it up because they were trying to reach.
Well, the
heaven
Kurds are
from-
not from Iraq. They're just in Iraq now. They're a big problem not only in Iraq, but in Turkey.
God wanted people to obey him and fear him and be like small. He wanted to keep them small so that he would be bigger than them.
Yeah.
He doesn't want them to get to his level. I don't
Right.
know why. That in the myth, right? So he said, okay, so they're trying to build this thing to get up to heaven, like a
Yeah.
big tower.
Yeah.
And then so he said, okay, well we'll just make them all speak different languages. Then they can't cooperate, and then
Right.
they can't build it anymore.
Yeah. A Babel of tongues.
Yeah, that's why we need the Babel fish. You put the little Babel fish in your ear, it listens,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
turns it into your language. You
Yeah.
hear it in your own language.
Yeah.
It's in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Maybe that's my problem. My Babel fish has died
Oh,
and decomposed.
yeah, well now you have a hearing aid.
I have a hearing aid which usually doesn't work because my ears are full of wax.
Yeah, see, it's such simple technology. That's such a simple problem. That's so crippling.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Babelfish. Google's working on it technologically, so you can do it through Google. You just go like whatever you want in a different language, and then it translates it. You can
So
translate a web page or type in whatever you want. Like I used it. I was there in Mexico, and then I'm like, how do I tell them to let me off somewhere, right? So I Google that.
Quiero
and I get it in
bajar.
Spanish, and
Yeah.
it tells me, and it gave me the wrong word.
Oh.
So I said it a different way, which still worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, déjame aquí. right?
Bajar.
Oh, okay. So I said déjame aquí, like let me off.
Oh,
here.
let me. Leave
Yeah,
me
let me off
here.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. But the verb used in Mexico for to get off a vehicle is bajar, get down.
Yeah.
And subir is the opposite, meaning get on, climb up.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say to somebody, get in a vehicle, like come in, get in my car, you say, sube.
Yeah.
And when it's time to get out, he says, quiero bajar, I want to get down.
Yeah. Quiero bajar.
Yeah.
What kinds of teas have you drunk?
Tea?
Yeah.
Oh, the most memorable is a tea called Lapsang Souchong, which is a tea, as the name indicates, from China, but on the border of China, sort of a Mongolian Chinese tea. It's very, very black, very smoky, and very strong tea. Lapsang Souchong. When you drunk a cup of Lapsang Souchong, you'll never forget it. It's an incredible experience. You can't get it, except in Chinatown.
There was a
And
nice
it'll
tea
cost
shop
you
in
about
China.
$200 a pound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very, very expensive. You remember that store
Yeah, that's what I was
on
just
Main
thinking
Street? Yeah, I
It's
can't remember the
painted
name of
green,
the
I
store,
think.
but they had all kinds of tea and Lapsang Souchong, and it was about $200 a pound.
About. How much do they charge for up to there for tea?
For what?
Oh, how much do they charge for tea up to the maximum? I
Well,
don't know.
about $200, Lapsang
No, I think it's
Souchong.
more than that. Well, not that kind. I mean they go higher.
Go high?
They go higher. 600, 900, I don't know.
Oh,
something.
really?
Yeah,
Oh.
we even
I
you said
quit
that a
when I
few
got
days
to
ago.
Lapsang Souchong. I said, I can't afford that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you bought that.
Oh, I've only bought it once, and from Murch's.
Yeah.
Murch's is a lot cheaper. A good tea and
Oh.
porter.
Yeah. I've drank tea in Murchie's. I've met with people in there.
I bet you never
Um,
met old man Murchie.
No, I haven't.
No, he died a long time ago. He was an old drunk. Big, tall guy.
They've got multiple outlets.
Yeah. But originally, Murch's tea was at Robson and Burrard
Yeah.
on a corner, kitty corner from the library.
Yeah.
And that was the
Okay.
only Murch's tea shop. Now they've got tea shops all over the place.
Yeah, Murchie the tea merchant.
Yes.
There's also Menchie's, but that has frozen yogurt.
What?
Menchie's is frozen yogurt. But anyway, back to Murchie's.
Yeah.
Well, I met someone who has the best gelato in the world. He won the competition in Italy.
There.
Yeah, he was living on my floor.
Living on the floor. Why couldn't he get up?
Oh, on my floor? Oh yeah, why didn't he have his own apartment? Well, I just mean the same floor, the 26th floor.
Oh.
There was two newspaper men and this guy with the best gelato.
So he
in the
lay on
world.
the newspapers on the floor.
Oh yeah, there's two men with newspapers, right? Well,
Sounds like a homeless bum.
yeah. Well, it was the Province and the Vancouver Sun. I think those were no.
They'll keep you warm.
No,
yeah.
it was one of them. It was either the Province. I think one was the Province. The other one was the Indian Times or something like that. So the two newspaper men are on the same floor.
Oh.
And then there's a guy that makes the best gelato.
So they were newspaper men.
Yeah,
Men made of
newspaper.
newspaper. Yeah.
It's like paper mache.
Yeah. Papier mache.
Yeah, we all had a tea party every day.
All right.
And the Mad Hatter would join us. And the Cheshire Cat up in a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your crow
Right.
cawing merrily. Yeah.
Ah.
It was good. Yeah, I never interviewed him, but I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because there was only so much time.
And only so much floor.
Right. Not a lot of space. It's occupied a lot with newspaper.
The thing about a floor is it's really two-dimensional plane surface.
Right, in a three-dimensional world.
Yeah.
They don't really belong here.
So it's only partially real.
It's flatland.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the gelato is great, and I have tried it, and he has two locations. One in Cole Harbor-ish, like, you know, with a banking area.
Yeah.
It's in there, and one in that other place, Yaletown. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But anyway, back to Murchie's.
back to Murch's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I first bought Lapsang Souchong. The only time I bought it. I only bought about a quarter of a pound.
Yeah.
That cost me about $20. And I thought, well, this better be good. And it was good.
Okay. So it was
Oh.
$80 a pound there. It was a better deal.
Yeah.
And that's what you got it for there.
Yeah.
All right.
Way too much money, but oh, good God, that's unforgettable tea.
Oh, wow.
Talk about hair on your chest. Wow.
Oh, it's quite strong?
Quite strong. It's phenomenally strong.
Uh-huh.
One teaspoonful will make you a great big pot of tea, which
Oh, yeah.
could take you all day to drink it.
Ah.
But what a day.
That's cool.
Unforgettable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to magic mushrooms then. Do people make tea out of magic mushrooms?
Yeah,
And
some
does
people
the
do. They're
heat
misguided,
destroy
but
it?
never mind.
Would the heat destroy the psilocybin?
It doesn't. No, people have experimented. People always do.
Yeah.
With magic mushrooms, and some of them made tea out of it
Mhm.
and apparently got high,
And some smoked
and
it.
some smoked it and apparently got high,
Mm.
and some, like me, put it in food
Yeah.
like an iguana stew,
Mm-hmm.
and the stew made you high.
Uh-huh. And I the first time I tried them, I think, with Luke, who we've done pitch and putt with, and downhill biking, and dirt jumps, and all that.
Yeah.
Skateboarding, of course. And, of course, marijuana. But that was earlier. That's a gateway drug, right? So, yeah, we had them in Subway sandwiches the first time.
Magic mushrooms.
Yeah, we got the Subway sandwiches and then break it up and put it in
Wow.
throughout the sandwich.
Whoa.
Like in the meat or something.
Yeah.
It's in it. That way you
Fantastic.
don't notice it as much, because we were told that they don't taste very good. They taste like shit because it grows on a cow turd
Yeah.
of patty.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Subway sandwich.
Yeah. It's an enhancement to the sandwich. So they could
Oh,
add it
yeah.
as an add-on. Oh,
Yeah.
you like it with magic mushrooms.
Yes.
Because they have mushrooms. You want them magified. It's an extra $10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well worth it. Yeah.
Okay, and then where is the most exotic place that you've drunk tea?
Exotic.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of geographical distance, which is basic meaning of exoticism,
Oh, because it's
somewhere foreign,
Mhm.
New Zealand, furthest away I've been
Yeah.
from here, and they drink a lot of tea in New Zealand,
Mhm.
and most of that tea is grown in Australia, in Queensland, and I've seen it growing in Queensland.
And was it good?
Oh, lovely tea. Australian tea. I once managed to find it in a grocery store in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of it now. It's a famous brand.
Hmm.
Australian tea. Well worth buying.
I think you can get their honey here too.
Yeah.
Australian or New Zealand. And
Oh.
lambs, right?
Lamb?
New Zealand lambs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought you
And-
meant lamb's rum.
And merino wool
Yeah.
from somewhere over there.
Yeah, from Australia. Yeah.
That's special wool. And they realized they could make clothes that work in any weather. Like,
Yes.
Like in the summer, you can wear wool clothes. It'll wick away your moisture, your sweat.
Right.
You can have like a wool t-shirt, wool
Yeah.
shorts,
Right.
everything.
Yeah. Woolen underwear.
Yeah.
Woolen snot rags.
Yeah. And something of value they gave Jeff and Elizabeth, one of the wedding presents they got was merino lambs or wool, sheep. I guess merino sheeps.
A breeding stock.
Yeah.
All right.
Started with merino.
Oh yeah, when merino, I think the merino is originally a Spanish breed of sheep, but when people discovered it on a worldwide basis, this is superior wool.
Ah.
And so the merino sheep was then crossed with every other breed of sheep
Oh.
to produce great wool.
Yeah.
Yeah. revolutionized the clothing industry.
And then you could make blue wool for depressed people.
Yes.
And orange wool for happy people, optimistic ones, youthful and excited,
Yeah.
exuberant. You make purple wool
For the enlightened.
For the pants.
Yeah.
Or for the pants of Will's girlfriend in Totally Unreal.
Yeah.
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 And tie-dye wool for the hippies.
Yeah. Well, wool comes in many colors if you dye it. That's the advantage of dieting.
Why?
Okay. Gives you many colors.
Right. You could turn green
Yeah.
and puke over the side of the boat.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, good God.
Oh yeah, we ate so much at that resort when I went to Playa del Carmen with Vera in January 2014.
Yeah.
They just give you as much food as you want, right?
Yeah.
Give us all your money, we'll give you all the food you want.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's just tons and tons of food.
Oh.
And drinks.
All right.
Yeah. We ate a lot.
All right.
Mhm.
And you puked?
No.
Oh,
No, never. It was great.
yeah. Talk about
Tea.
puke. I once
Well,
went
that was
on a
a dog.
holiday with my dad to Cork in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland, which is down the south coast of Ireland, way out in the Atlantic. And you can only get there by boat if you're in England.
Ah.
And the boat goes from Wales. Wales has the advantage of being in the way between England and Ireland, the only thing keeping them apart.
Uh-huh.
And so the ferry, it's a ferry, a regular daily ferry. It's a big boat. And it takes a lot of passengers, and you get on a special train in London, which goes all the way to Fishguard on the west coast of Wales, and then you get on this big boat, thousands of people, all heading for Cork. And when you get to Cork,
That's where you bob up. Out of the underworld. Out of a submarine.
you bob up,
Yeah.
from the submarine, yeah. Well,
Well,
anyway,
let's
by the time we got to
continue.
Cork, the crossing of the Irish Sea was so horrific. The ship was practically standing on its head, and all the people were puking their guts out all over the place. But those that succeeded in getting to the rail managed to puke over the side. So by the time
The lucky few?
the lucky few, most of them puked where they were. They couldn't even get to anywhere where it's
And everyone
possible
else
to
would slip
puke.
in it.
Everyone else would slip over and slide in it and fall face down flat in it. Anyway, the whole
It's a
ship was
revolting
alive
ship.
and awash with puke. Thousands of people puking their guts out.
So Pookie would have been right at home. He could have
She-
been the
he-
cleanup crew.
Oh, he would.
You just want a whole
She
bunch
would
of
have had a
those.
lovely time.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the time the ship docked, which means came to the dock in Cork, it was just a ship completely covered
Oh.
from stem to stern in puke.
Wow.
All the way, because everyone had puked over the side, those that
Oh,
made
and
it.
it runs along the
And
edges.
it encrusted on the side of the ship. They had to turn on the fire hoses
Yeah.
and hose down the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not puke the whole trip.
Strong stomach. An iron stomach, maybe because you drink so much tea. It's got to be good tea.
But when we got
That's
to the
security.
hotel,
That's
when we
queasy
got to the
stomach
hotel,
security.
after being on this 12-hour crossing of the Irish Sea, mostly upside down, and we rode in a taxi over solid ground known as terra firma.
Oh.
We rode in this taxi from the city
Yeah.
of Cork to a little town called Crosshaven in English.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called in Irish.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a boarding house, a bed and breakfast, where my dad had reserved us a room. And we got to the room, and I opened the door of the bedroom and promptly threw up
Under the carpet.
on the carpet, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I just puked my guts out
Maybe
about
the
an
land-
hour after getting off the
So
boat.
maybe the land was heaving now. 'Cause
Everything
you're
was
used-
heaving
you're
up
used
and
to
down.
the boat moving.
Yeah, because once your nervous system gets oscillating, it just keeps oscillating.
Ah.
Anyway, that's the sad story by seasickness,
Yeah.
which attacked me on terra firma.
Right.
in County Cork.
Ah. With
Huh.
a bit of a delay.
Delayed reaction, yeah. Huh.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
other
the
time
shrimp.
that I saw a boat covered in
Oh.
puke was on my immigration trip to Canada
Oh.
from Liverpool, also on the Irish Sea.
Be quiet over there. That's
Yeah.
the squirrel we have a quarrel with.
And we voyaged across the North Atlantic uneventfully, relatively stably. I mean, the ship stayed
I
on
just saw the
course.
squirrel, and it flitted by over there in the corner, and Bullet then stretched out and relaxed.
Oh.
See, it's just a really good guard dog.
All's well. Yeah. No problem. Anyway, this ship called the Empress of France. Yeah, the Empress of France. Canadian Pacific Steamships was an immigrant ship. And I was one of the immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And we voyaged across the North Atlantic uneventfully, eating and drinking merrily, good food, until we got to the Bay of Fundy. That is between Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. And New Brunswick, St. John, New Brunswick, was our port that we were aiming for because it was one of the few Canadian ports that wasn't frozen up. Normally that ship went to Montreal, but the St. Lawrence River, which flows past Montreal, was frozen. So you couldn't get to Montreal in the winter. And this was March, which in England meant it was spring. And when I left England, all the trees were budding green. But when I got to Canada, it was covered in ice and snow. Anyway, we got through the Bay of Fundy. When we got to the Bay of Fundy, we found it was the end of that peaceful voyage. Suddenly the sea went mad. I almost said the tea went mad.
Yeah.
But
Frothing.
the sea went mad, up and down like a roller coaster, back and forth, round and round, upside down, left, right, all the directions that Pythagoras ever dreamed of.
Mm-hmm.
Did he dream? I don't think Pythagoras did dream. That was his problem.
Oh.
Anyway, the ship was just twirling around like a bat out of hell, and everyone in it threw up guts,
And
puke,
all.
intestines, everything came up.
Mm.
And the dining hall, the
Just
dining hall
horrific.
was an absolute disaster area. It was where we'd all congregate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that dining hall was just swimming with vomit.
So
And
be
people-
plastered with pancakes.
Eh?
So plastered with pancakes in the morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they dish up hot cakes
Mm-hmm.
covered in maple syrup, which of course promotes vomit
It sticks
when
on
the ship
walls.
is twirling around.
Yeah, and it was beautified with beans. in
But
the
because
evening.
we'd paid money for our tickets and the food was literally thrown in,
then it was
nobody
promptly-
wanted to miss a meal. Even if you were puking your guts out, you
Yeah.
still turned up for
Well, it was
breakfast.
promptly thrown in.
Yeah.
And it
And
was
then
then
thrown
promptly
up.
thrown up.
Yeah. It was horrible.
When they said when they wake you up and they say up and at 'em, that's what they really mean.
Yeah.
It's up, Chuck. It's I don't know. It's just a ship.
But all these waiters, they were real comedians. They were all Liverpudlians, which is a dynamic combination of Lancashire and Irish, like the Beatles. And all these waiters, they were very comical guys, but they were not fazed by the fact that everybody eating was puking at the same time. So the tables, the chairs, the floor, the walls, almost the ceiling were covered in vomit. But people were still stuffing themselves
And the
with
waiters
hot
were
cakes
still,
and maple syrup
and
and,
the waiters
bacon.
were still very polite.
Yeah, and they would come skidding through
Yeah.
from the
they're
cookhouse, the
sliding.
galley, sliding on streams of pools of vomit
Mhm.
with a tray balanced on each fingertip
Yeah.
and loads and loads of maple syrup and coffee and tea and bacon and eggs and
I love breakfast.
you
Good
wouldn't have
old
loved
breakfast.
this.
Not with puke, no.
It would have
It
turned
bring-
your stomach.
It brings up that movie, like
Bring
Life
Up
of-
is right.
Not Life of Brian, the meaning of life or something. The one with the skit with the really huge man. That he's like, okay, well, what do you want, right? And he orders stuff. He's like, well, give me everything, just everything on the menu in a bucket.
Yeah.
Or 2 buckets.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like that. It was just an orgy of eating and vomiting. It was like the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Worse.
Oh yeah, what did they call that? Purging. You'd eat and then you'd go to the purgatoriums or whatever.
Yeah. And purge your guts. Yeah.
So you can eat more. It's like
Stick
Las
your fingers
Vegas.
down your
It's
throat.
like Las Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Eat, puke, eat some more, puke some more. Or like Pukey, our dog.
Mm-hmm. He ate.
He would
puked and
eat shit.
Puke.
He would eat shit, fresh shit,
Puke.
and then he'd puke it up because he really didn't like. Well, he loved it, but he
His
didn't
stomach
like.
didn't
His
like it.
stomach didn't like it. He'd puke it up and then he'd eat it again.
He's always ruminating.
Yeah.
He thought he was a cow. He was a cow in a past life. He's used to having 4 stomachs.
Yeah. Anyway, we finally got through the Bay of Fundy.
that got
It took
Bullet-
about 12 hours.
That got Bullet's attention. He looked over
Yeah.
and went back to sleep.
Yeah, we got through the Bay of Fundy and hit the port of St. John, New Brunswick, which was covered in ice. The dock was just ice. Stalactites, icicles everywhere. I thought, good God, welcome to Canada. Good
Oh.
God.
Yeah. So
And
you
I went
promptly
ashore,
all
and
the
these customs men looked at me and said, "What's that red stuff on your boots?"
Oh.
I was wearing rubber boots. I said, "Well, that's soil." They said, "What kind of soil?" And I said, "Devon soil.
Oh, you
Soil
should have
in
washed
Devon
them
is
before you
red."
left there.
I should have washed my boots, yeah, but I
Otherwise,
didn't.
they suspect you.
And they said, "What were you doing in Devon?" I said, "I was working on a farm."
Yeah.
"What kind of farm?" I said, "A pig farm." They said, "A pig farm? And you bring the mud here to Canada? What are you trying to
could
do? Infect the whole country with foot and mouth?"
Yeah.
Because foot and mouth is a famous pig disease,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if it originates in England, but it makes its home there. And
Did they
it's
screech?
world famous plague.
Did they screech?
Yeah, they did. They went mad with panic.
Oh.
And they turned on the fire hoses and
Okay.
hosed my boots down
Yeah.
while I was wearing them. A high pressure
Right on the
hose.
dock.
And they washed all that evil red soil, which is just red soil from
like
the
right
ground.
here. Yeah.
And they washed it all back into the ocean, hoping that the
Mm-hmm.
Gulf Stream would carry it back to England.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, then they let me land ashore. And that's how I got to Canada.
Mm-hmm. So it was so
March
cold.
17th, 1955.
So it was so cold that you promptly went all the way to the other coast to see if it was different over there.
Eventually, it took me about 2 years to get to BC.
Mm.
Yeah, because I spent 1.5 years in Ontario.
Farming.
Farming, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right, Bullet. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah. It's either the neighbor with his equipment or the Jehovah's Witness appearing.
Yeah, I don't think Jehovah's Witnesses ever come on a Monday.
Oh, okay.
They usually come on a Saturday. I don't
Okay.
know why.
Well, that's it for this one. More at dixtravels.com.